Well, hello everybody. How you doing out there today? It's Elizabeth Morosco coming on with some helpful and really simple tips if you are working from home with kids. New set of challenge, right? So myself am going through some of these transitions right now. I have two kids, and they're actually both doing a hybrid version of school, part virtual and part at home. So I'd love to know from you, do you have kids? And if you do, are they back at school? So last week we started with kid number one, and then this week we rolled out with both kids getting back into school. And I'm going to tell you, there's a lot of adjustment going on in my house and in my business. And I don't know if that's you too, but I came up with some really simple solutions that I'm going to be implementing in my house. And I thought I'd share them with you. So hopefully it'll help you in some way or another. But for those of you that don't know me, my name's Elizabeth Morosco. I own a marketing agency. We publish a magazine called Kudos Magazine that's distributed throughout mid-Michigan. And I help with nonprofits and corporations expand their voice online and offline. And that may include digital marketing. In the past, it would also include doing production of big events, but right now events are on hold. So digital is a big thing. And I think a lot of us are migrating into this digital world full time. And I know even with my background, working on the magazine and creating a lot of content for social media, even with my experience of doing that, I'm making a lot of adjustments, and that includes my kids being at the house. In the past, I would drop them at school and jump right into my day, whether it was hopping over to a meeting with a client or working wherever I wanted. And now I've got to find different little spaces for myself to work. Are you in that situation? Have you had to come up with a space at your house to work? So I actually created a little nook, believe it or not, up in my bedroom. And when they have their class sessions going on and I have my work stuff going on, I can kind of separate myself. But it's been a doozy, I'll tell you. And with one of the schools, with my youngest son's school, what they're doing adds an additional challenge, and it's half days. For 1 week, it's in the morning, and then the following week, it's half days in the afternoon, where they go into school and they have some other virtual stuff that they're doing. But it's challenging, and I'm multitasking and trying to do a couple things. But some of the things that we've run into issues include schedule, noise factor. I mean, come on, I've got two teen boys. Really? Like it's going to be freaking quiet in my house all the time? I don't think so. And they've got a lot of energy, but especially with the younger ones, it's got to be really challenging for those parents because there's even more energy and a need to keep them engaged and more hands-on activity. My sons are a little bit older, so I can relatively get them set on track and then go do my thing. But there's still challenges. So here are some really simple things that I want to share with you before we all roll into the school year, because I think by next week after Labor Day, we're all going to be facing it. So are you ready? I'm kind of ready. And I know these kids are excited to be able to get back into the swing of learning and getting things going. And I think if we do a couple little things to prep, we can keep ourselves kind of calm. And I'm going to give you a little bit of a background. I feel like I was prepped for this before this pandemic even happened. And let me explain really quick without going into, like a deep sob story. This is just part of my life. And through it, I gained a lot of experience and tools. Unfortunately, it was a little bit difficult, but nonetheless, I gained these tools and I want to share some things with you. For a period we had a 2-year period in our family where we had 9 deaths in our family. But the problem was starting even before the people died, because some of them needed long-term care. So overall, it was like a 5-year period. And I was responsible for caregiving at some level for 3 of the people. Um, 2 of them just like with some of the background things. And then the other, one of them was my husband, who actually ended up facing a long-term health crisis. And eventually he passed away. But it required us to do a lot of shifting and adjusting. And at the time, I mean, it was hard. And I wish that somebody would have given me like a roadmap of, hey, this is what you got to do to survive so that you can work, provide for your kids, take care of loved ones, and do the things that you're responsible for. But I didn't have a roadmap. So what I'm doing, this is a short of it, is just simple little things, like 6 little things that you can do to try to ease through this transition with your kids. And one of the first things that I want to talk to you about is, it doesn't even have to do necessarily with your kids, is I want to encourage you to have open dialogue with your boss or bosses and or your clients, and explain to them, what it is that you're facing. Now, some of them are going to be aware because they may be experiencing that themselves. Some of them may actually be ignorant because they don't have children. They're doing it solo and they're not aware of this whole new world that you as a parent and an employee are facing, right? And it's okay as long as you map it out of, these are the things that you're facing, and talking about your schedule with your kids or whatever it is that you have to, so that you make sure that you're on that same road as your boss or your client, so they understand there may be times that are challenging, that you have to spin in a different direction. And like I said, some people are going to get it and some people aren't. But right now, you've got to do what's best for your family. And that includes, doing your job, what you're supposed to do. A few days ago, I was talking in a Facebook Live, and I had shared how I had worked with one particular client who, when I first started working with her, she didn't have any children. And she called me. It was late in the evening. It was like 7:00 at night. And I really shouldn't have taken the call. I had worked all day long, had been away from my kids, and my kids needed me at that time. And unfortunately, at that point in her life, she didn't quite get it. She just didn't get it. And she wasn't going to get it until she had kids. And while we were working together, she had her first kid. And then within, I think it was like a 4-year period, she had kid number 2. So she definitely understood what that road was like after she was on it. And isn't that what it's really like often in life? We really don't understand what it's like until we've been on that path. But for most of us right now, we've never been on this path of chaos and trying to balance things out with all of our different roles that we're doing in life. And now we're facing where we've got all these responsibilities in our house, along with work, along with trying to school our kids, whether it's homeschooling or virtual schooling or running them back and forth for half days every single day. It's a lot of work, but it's doable. And part of it's going to come down to you having open communication and realize that communication is key. So if you believe that, give me a hashtag, communication is key, down below, because I think as you communicate with people and let them understand where you're at and how you're going to be able to provide what they need, it can prevent a lot of headaches and keep things going smoothly. So I want to encourage that for you. Number 1, talk to your boss, talk to your clients, and let them know what it is that you're facing. Another one is start to become more flexible with your schedule, but equally to that, block out time for specific tasks. So when you're working at home, you don't want to get distracted with like your home tasks, all of the things that you got to do for your house. You need to make sure that you're dedicating specific times to the tasks that you need to accomplish to perform your job. And that's going to include some self-discipline. And sometimes when we're in our home, it can become difficult to not get distracted by something that you know that has to get done in your house. So blocking these sets of time can help you stay on task for your business and for your personal home things that you have to do. And then also blocking in sets of time that correlate with your kid's schedule. Now that's where we get into a little bit of this fuzzy water because we don't necessarily know what's happening, right? With their calendar or their activities that they have coming up. So make sure, again, communication is key, that you're communicating with the school, with the teachers, so you understand what's coming up and you can build that into your calendar for your meetings so you can prevent meeting conflicts and unnecessary headache. It can just be overwhelming. And another one, you guys, we're blocking all this time. We're working, we're high functioning. Everything's going great. You've got kids. You got to remember, you have to plan for breaks. And just like at school, they have these time slots of like recess or different breaks. You've got to do that too. You know, a lot of times in corporate America, we have these, I'll call them silent little breaks, whether it's walking down to the coffee pot or the water cooler to go get a snack or chatting with Betty Lou in her cubicle. Those are like little natural mind breaks that we take. Kids need that too. So if you can get them outside, get them some fresh air and make sure that you factor that into your schedule, because now it's not just you running your business or doing the things you need to do. You've got to factor in kid time. And if possible, like I was telling you when I first started, I set up a little space up in my room. So when they're doing their classes online downstairs, they can function and I can come up here and function. I'm not interrupting them with, you know, mom's yapping again on a live. And I'm not distracting them. And at the same time, they're not distracting me. And I think that this is going to be another key part right here is realizing there may be times of interruption. So when you're talking to your boss, let them know about, you know, the homeschooling or virtual schooling happening at your house. Do you remember that? Did you catch that video from a few years ago? Let me see if I can find it, of the dad who was doing a live interview. It might have been on BBC, and he's you know, at his home broadcasting, and let me see. Oh, here we go. I'm going to see if I can pull this up because it's hysterical. This guy is sitting right in a live broadcast. And while he's there, he gets a little surprise visit from his whole family. But this is where we got to learn, number one, embrace the gift of humor. Okay. Let me share this because this is a hoot. I hope that this puts a smile on your face. Okay, let's see here. Let's share this. Okay, here we go. All right, you ready to smile? Let me get this going 1 second. All right, here we go. All right.
And the question is, how do marketers respond to those scandals?
And what will it mean for the wider region? I think one of your children has just walked in. I mean, shifting sands in the region. Do you think relations with the North may change?
I would be surprised if they do.
And here comes the classic. Watch the mom. This is great.
Pardon me. My apologies.
Anyhow, so that just goes to show you mishaps happen even if you're live on BBC. So go with it. It's okay. But talk to your boss and your clients so that they're aware of that. And if they're a decent human being, they're going to have some kind of understanding. I mean, unless you're working in some kind of top security, something that needs to devote attention. And if you're at that level, you probably should hire a nanny to come in and help while you're working at home. But in all honesty, most of us, we just don't have, the resources to go get a nanny while we're working at home, right? So try to do some stuff like have a separate room, and you can do some visual cues. Even if it's a simple sign on your door, I'm live, or tied up on a call, don't knock for 10 minutes, text me, or something like that. Come up with what are your communication chains. So if you are live or you're in the middle of a conference call, that you don't interrupt that flow. So it doesn't have to be terrible, like this military style of, but just do some things to create spaces that are needed for you to accomplish what you need, and also for your kids to accomplish what they need, because you don't want another sibling running around the house screaming like a maniac while the other child's trying to get notes that are important for an upcoming test, right? And there's going to be a little bit more need of support for these kids doing virtual learning, because it's a different experience. So learn to focus what's most important, though. With so many balls up in the air, you've got to kind of focus your mindset on what's most important, and just make sure that you are taking a break for you too. That may include, like, if you have both spouses working at home with the kids, that maybe you take a turn of each of you getting a break occasionally so that you can make it through, because we all need a break. Everybody needs to refill their wells so that they can give back. But I hope that some of these little tips will help you in some way. So real quick, a recap. If you are working from home with your kids, here's some things that I suggest, and hopefully they'll help you. Number one, talk to your boss, talk to your clients, let them know what's going on with your work, school, kids' school schedule, so that they understand. Start to create a flexible schedule for you and your family. Factor in breaks for yourself and for your kids. Also, designate a room specifically for you, for your work. Create visual cues that are really simple, whether it's a sign on the door to say, don't interrupt right now. Also set up a communication process, whether it's texting or them sending you a message through email. If you are in the middle of a work conference call and they need to get a hold of you, that they can without coming in while it's live. And take some time for yourself and try to make this a good experience. Later on, when you have grandkids, you'll be sharing the story about how, instead of being, I walked to school uphill 10 miles in the snow with no shoes, you're going to be able to say, I was working at home. But just make sure that while you're doing it all, that you don't lose your freaking mind, and that you don't lose peace in your heart. So if you got something out of this video, go ahead and give it to somebody else that you think could benefit from it. Right now, it's really important for all of us to lift each other up with positive words, thoughts, and encouragement. There's enough negative stuff that we can find on social media. So make sure that everything that you're spewing to the people around you is coming from a place of love, so that we can try to get some healing, get things back on track, and try to get some good stuff going in life. All right, you guys, thanks for watching. In the meantime, I hope you have a great day. Just wanted to share a quick FYI. We are gearing up for a workshop October 5th, and we're going to be sharing all kinds of tips on how to get cruising in traffic for your business, and also how to create a little bit more work-life balance while all this insanity is going on. All right, so I hope to see you then. You can go to ElizabethMorosco.com for some free training and other cool stuff to keep you on track with your peace of mind and your business. All right, I'll catch you guys later. Have a good one. Bye.